Good morning, everyone. Mike McConville here one more time for String Tech Workstations. As you can see, we've got two 335s in today. I wanted to start by just showing all the latest TechDeck owners how I strap this type of body down. So the longer strap that comes with the Workstations, I go across the lower bout, and that basically serves as a hoop that catches this lower bout. With the medium length strap, I go up and over the horn under the neck, and that keeps everything free for access to the frets as we're doing fretwork. This guitar really needs that proverbial fret dress at the neck junction in order to sort of drop that action down, get it to maximum playability. All of the trouble areas right here where the tenon is received into the mortise at that neck junction. It's not that this portion swells up, it doesn't. Everything else around it moves. Of course, the neck is carved away in the back, and you get that flexibility. Once this is addressed at the neck junction, and by the way, I do this routinely on the XLT, so the body's fully supported, held in place. It's not going to shift or wobble or be crushed by excessive force. And that allows us to take care of this upper portion, and that will allow us to kind of hone right in and get the action where we want it. Strip off the strings and hardware. That looks like the Tone Pro bridge, so this is good because this is rock solid. I always like that design. It's a very good idea. So these are the fret guards that I send out in your fretting kits. So first I make an impression of the end of the fingerboard. I'll cut that out first. We'll tweak that down to the last final fit. So here is the press fit that we got on Richard's guitar. So what's happening here is we're restoring the structural integrity of the headstock. That nut blank cannot be loose or tight. It has to be a perfect press fit. No wiggling, no wobbling. That one is 100%. Same deal with Brendan's guitar. No apparent looseness or tightness. Press fits into place. So this is where the rubber hits the road, doing that radius on the underside of the shelf. Watch how fast this goes. So we've got that radius. Now we'll cut that leg down until the overhang rests on the fingerboard. So I made that little concave storyboard. I'm going to use that for tracing to make a convex storyboard. So that's what we got. This I'm going to hit on the disc sander. So there's just a hint of that pencil line. That's what we want to see. So I've traced that onto the shelf, and now we're back to our drill press radius disc sander. Here we go. Back to the guitar. So there's the fit on Richard's compensated nut, and here's Brandon's. So Gibson has been the envy of the guitar industry for years for these little plastic nibs that cover the ends of the frets. With Brendan's guitar, it's no issue. We've got plenty of real estate on those upper frets to bring them down without disturbing those plastic nibs that seal the ends of the frets. It really is quite elegant. So this 335 of Brendan's, it needs that typical fret dress at the neck junction. Of the 6 straight edges that I supply in the fretting kits, it's this 10-inch one that I use probably the most. It allows me to sort of check the neck in thirds, sort of bottom third, middle third, top third. So when I lay that straight edge from the 1st fret to the 11th fret, the neck is very straight, no issues whatsoever. So I've got a 3 thou feeler gauge here, and I can run that along and it does not slip under. There's the outside of the neck, here's the middle. Perfect, perfectly straight. There we go. When I go to the middle of the neck and do that, okay, we got a little bit of relief here. Let's go to the center. Same thing. Okay, now we need to level this dead straight. And I've got the truss rod yeah, it's going under here as well. I have the truss rod adjusted to get the neck as straight as possible. When I put the larger straight edge that goes end to end, right from the 1st fret to the last, you can see that that 3 thou moves all the way along. It stops right here at the 2nd highest fret. Let's try it over here. Okay. And it stops at the 2nd last fret. Let's move it over again. Same thing. So the issue really is just at the top end. Here's my 10-inch straight edge again, same deal, while it stops at the 3rd fret. Again, oh, it's stopping at the 5 frets back. Let's move it over here on the treble side. It's just starting to grab at 4 frets back. It's only this area here that needs to be leveled and recrowned and polished, and then I'll go full length and buff it out. I wanted to point this out because all of the guys that ordered your XLT, this is the XLT unit, this fret dress at the neck junction is by far the most common fret dress for guitars. And I do this routinely on the XLT. So I'm just about to do that. I'm going to bring you in for a close look. I have my mill file here. This is the leveling file that we supply you with in your fretting kits. So I'm just hitting that top end. We don't need to file the rest. The rest we'll be able to use the scrub blocks that I also supply in the kits. So we're going to check this again with the straight edge and that 3 thou feeler gauge and see what we get. Now obviously this needs to be recrowned and polished, but before I do that, so this is where we use the crowning file. We're taking that squareness out. I'm being very careful not to touch the center of the crown. And as you can see, it's all at the top end here. And this one obviously took the biggest hit, that very last fret. I will come around the other side to work this side of the fret. Taking care of that little bit of discrepancy is going to allow us to drop the action down to where Brendan would like to see it. I've masked off that soft plastic inlay so that we don't scratch it. This is the scrub block that we use to get rid of the tooling marks of the file. This flexible vinyl actually distorts and slurs over top of those crowns and allows you to sort of scrub it back to center. You can see I've taken out all traces of the leveling file. Now I'm going to step it up to a 600 and I'm going to go full length. Here's our 600, and that of course will take out the scratch marks of the 400 paper that was used to get rid of the file marks. Now I will go actually full length. Kind of slip that over the block, get a little more use out of that paper. And slip it back the other way. Now I've got a second piece stacked on this, and we're now going full length. There's no danger of lowering the frets with this method, because like I said, that flexible material just distorts and allows the sandpaper to slur over those crowns and scrub them back to center. Now I follow up that 600 grit with emery cloth. So now we're going full length. We'll follow this up with the buffer. The 600 grit and the emery cloth was enough to take out all trace marks of string wear in those upper 8 frets. We've got the thing dead flat, we're going to buff it out, and then we'll get on with the rest of the job. So I load up that wheel with some jeweler's rouge. Now we'll bring this to the final sheen. And this is our final sheen. So these frets are all now perfectly level and buffed to a mirror shine. And now we're ready to get on with the setup.